Today we are turning this big spool into a picnic table. Well, we're gonna try. We've never done this before, so let's see how it turns out. All right, so there's our spool, and it's roughly 4.5 feet, maybe a little bit more. It was used for a wedding, so it's one of these extras that we kind of have laying around. Now, obviously what we're talking about doing is taking half of this side and half of that side and making 2 benches. This will be the bottom of it, as we'll flip it over, and then we'll use this as the bench. So let's hope it works out. But you've drawn a circle on here that we're gonna cut. How did you go about that?
I took this noodler spool, stuck it on top, drawn a circle.
Aha, so we kind of cheated because we had that spool and it's smaller. So it works out pretty well. But in cases where people may not have an extra spool laying around, I guess you just need to find the center and get you something to tie a string to or something like that and go around, or, you know, take a good guess at it. But we've also drawn a straight line running in. This is halfway across, and we're gonna cut this side off just like that, and the same thing over here. And then the idea is we're gonna put some legs on the benches, flip this over, that'll become the top of it, and then of course we'll have the benches to sandwich up against it. So well, in the process of cutting, we have exasperated our jigsaw, and we decided to say a final few last words. Do you guys have any final words you'd like to say?
I did not know this drill very well.
It's a jigsaw.
See, that proves how much I didn't know the drill.
Goodbye, old saw. It's been good knowing you. You've been faithful.
Can we quit being so dramatic and get back to work?
Oh, 6 amps? Oh, yes. Okay, thanks to our new saw, we have 1/2 done. So there we go. 1/2. It's pretty solid, isn't it? It's heavy. It's gonna make a great bench. So now here's what we have left. Now we gotta cut off the other side. So our 2 benches, or at least our tops, are done. We got those cut off and we flipped it over. Now that is our base. This is our top. And of course we have to sand all this stuff down. So that's quite a bit of work. But for right now, we're gonna do something else, right? What are we doing, Judah?
We're gonna take these home and put the legs on the bottom for the benches.
Cool, let's go do that. So we're back on the back porch, and there are our seats, but we have decided to cut them into quarters because of the weight, because those are heavy. I figured this might be the case, but if we built all this together, then it's going to take 2 or 3 people to move them. So we're going to break them down into quarters and use treated 2x4s for the legs. So time to cut some legs, right?
Yep.
Okay, let me show you what we've got so far. Amateurs, but we think it's working. Now we have cut them into quarters, obviously, and we have 2 built. We think they're sturdy. No, they really are sturdy, aren't they? But obviously they're not a finished product because we have to sand them down and everything. But you can kind of see where we're going with this. And with this one right here, this is obviously the outside of it, the inside over there. So work in progress. But hey, not so bad, I think, for a bunch of amateurs trying to figure it out as they go. So
Is that you?
yeah, yes, it's me. Okay, it got dark. We'll see you in the morning. And we're back. It's daylight now. It is a beautiful day here, and we have these benches loaded and ready to take back out to the table. We're going to sand it all down today, and hopefully we can make it look good. They're definitely strong. They are heavy. We're glad we split them up into quarters rather than the halves, because you would have to be a beast to be able to pick these things up because they're solid. So let's go get them sanded. And yes, I am hauling them in my Suburban. I use my Suburban like a truck. Does anybody else use their SUV or car like a truck? I've seen people do all sorts of things, but I really do. But it is what it is, and it works. Actually, sometimes I wonder if it's not even better than a truck. So Anyway, let's go get them sanded. All right, it's time to start sanding on our benches. We have got a lot of sanding to do. This may actually be what requires the most work out of us because the legs were actually pretty easy to do. And obviously Judah's sitting down on the job. But one of the things that obviously, there's 100,000 ways to do this, I'm sure. But what we did is just show you, we kind of, you know, put this piece right here into this board so that we could sister these into that. And obviously we cut it at an angle, and our thoughts were to keep it about the same width at the bottom of the legs as it is at the top, and then put that piece in the middle for strength. And then to put this in there so that it doesn't go in or out, it keeps it steady. And Judah says he likes it because it's the perfect place to put your feet, you know, because obviously we all have to have somewhere to put our feet, right, Judah? Yep. And that is a good spot to do it. So while he's over there doing some sanding, I just want to take a little sidebar here, because one of the reasons why we're doing this project is because he's wanting to make money on the side so that he can buy a particular computer for video editing and some other creative things like that, which I'm super good with. But one of the things that's important to Amanda and I and our family is, you know, obviously work ethic and responsibility. And if we go out and just buy it, then will he appreciate it as much? I don't know. I mean, you know, we don't mind buying them anything, and we certainly don't mind matching them, but it is really nice when they have some type of ownership in it. And so this is his ownership in that. Not only that, but he's learning some skills that I didn't learn until, you know, just over the last few years. And I'm not going to say I'm the expert, but at the same time, as he gets older, he's going to know how to do some things that I didn't know to do when I was going into my early adulthood life. So anyway, we like that. Work ethic is definitely something that no matter what he chooses to do is always going to benefit him, right? And being able to look at something and be creative and figure out solutions and things like that. So he may not decide to do this for the rest of his life. It doesn't matter to me what he does, but work ethic is absolutely a must in whatever he chooses. Being creative and being able to learn how to come up with solutions to things, even though this might seem minor, those are things that are teaching him those things. And so as a parent, this is right up my alley. Plus, I get to spend time with my kids when they want to do projects like this. That's irreplaceable. So just a little sidebar. And we're just about done sanding, so now we have decided to just stain all of it. We had went back and forth with it, just leave it as is. It's kind of cool looking the way it is. Or maybe just paint the legs of the chairs, the benches, and leave it at that. Or maybe paint the bottom and then stain. But considering those are treated legs, I felt like that maybe it'd be better if it were stained. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to stain it. We also took a poll among our tribe, and that's pretty much what it came up with. So we're going to jump in here with some conditioner first to condition this wood and get it ready. Let that dry up, and then we are going with dark walnut. That seems to be our color of choice. We don't want to go to the darkest, but it's, you know, like maybe third from the darkest at our local Ace Hardware. So let's get to conditioning. All right, we've got them conditioned and ready. We are not going to break our backs. We got them up to where they're a little higher so that we can put stain on those legs without killing ourselves. And so we're ready to start staining. So let's do it. Okay, we've just put the finishing touches on the stain, and of course it has to dry, so it's going to look a little different, but all in all, I think it looks pretty good. Good job, Judah. Very good. And I think the idea with this one is we're going to sell it, right? We're going to sell it. You look like you might have gotten into we should have wore gloves, but we just don't do that stuff. We live on the edge, right? This is the same color of stain that was on there before we ever started. The difference now, though, is that it's sanded, and so nobody runs a risk of getting any splinters in their fingers, or if they run across, or maybe even worse, they go to sit down on that bench and something reaches out and grabs you. That would be horrible. So now it's sanded down and it's smooth and it's nice. So same color, different feel. So I hope we've inspired your next project. Nothing else, maybe entertained you for a little while. We're rookies. Anybody can do this. We think so anyway. And as long as you got a few tools and the nerve to do it and a little bit of time, then anybody could do it, but it's lots of fun. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.